Welcome back to KDramaVerse, the place where we don't just talk about dramas and stars, we feel them, question them, and sometimes sit quietly with the stories that never make the loud headlines. Today, take a deep breath with me, because this is not one of those flashy, scandal-driven narratives. This is a slow-burning story. A quiet one. The kind that doesn't explode overnight but seeps into everything, changing the direction of a life and a career without most people even realizing it. Today we're talking about Cha Eun-woo, and the silent impact of one quiet case that reshaped him forever. At first glance, Cha Eun-woo's life looks almost unreal. Perfect visuals, steady success, loyal fans, hit dramas, sold-out fan meetings. To the public, his career feels like a smooth road paved with praise and flower petals. But let me ask you something before we go any further. Have you ever noticed how silence can sometimes be louder than chaos? How the things no one shouts about can leave the deepest marks. That's exactly what happened here. This wasn't a scandal filled with screaming headlines or viral clips replayed a million times. It wasn't a courtroom drama broadcast live or a tearful press conference. In fact, many fans barely noticed it at first. Some heard whispers. Some brushed it off. Some chose not to talk about it at all. And yet, from that moment onward, something about Cha Eun-woo subtly shifted. His choices. His expressions. The way he spoke about acting. The way he carried himself in public. Even the roles he gravitated toward. Think back for a moment. Close your eyes if you want. Remember the early days of Cha Eun-woo's career. The bright smile that felt almost untouchable. The image of the perfect idol actor, someone so polished that criticism seemed to slide right off him. Many people admired him, but some also doubted him. He's just a face. He's popular because he's handsome. He doesn't need depth. These comments followed him like a shadow, quiet but persistent. Then came that one case. Not explosive, not dramatic, but heavy. A situation that forced the industry, and Cha Eun-woo himself, to confront the uncomfortable truth that even the most flawless images can crack under pressure. It wasn't about guilt or innocence in the way people usually expect. It was about perception, responsibility, silence, and the emotional cost of being constantly watched while having no safe space to explain yourself. What made this case different was how Cha Eun-woo responded. Or rather, how he didn't. No dramatic statements. No emotional outbursts. No attempt to turn the situation into sympathy points. He chose restraint. And that restraint confused people. Some fans wanted reassurance. Some critics wanted explanations. The media wanted something, anything, to turn into a headline. But what they got was silence. Now, pause here and tell me honestly in the comments, how do you usually react when someone stays quiet during a tense moment? Do you trust them more, or do you grow suspicious? This is where things get interesting. For Cha Eun-woo, that silence became a turning point. Inside the industry, people began to look at him differently. Not as the untouchable pretty boy, but as someone learning, absorbing, and enduring. Behind closed doors, directors and producers reportedly noticed a change. He asked more questions. He spent more time on scripts. He became less concerned with looking perfect and more focused on feeling real. And fans noticed it too, even if they couldn't quite name it. His eyes on screen felt heavier. His pauses felt intentional. His characters began carrying wounds, regrets, and emotional weight that hadn't been there before. This wasn't accidental. This was growth forged in quiet pressure. There's a moment many fans point to, a particular interview where he spoke about learning to accept misunderstanding. He didn't reference the case directly. He didn't need to. His words carried the weight of someone who had been judged without the chance to fully speak. Someone who realized that not every truth gets the space it deserves. Have you ever been in that position? Where explaining yourself felt pointless because people had already decided who you were. If you have, you might understand why this moment changed him. From that point on, Cha Eun-woo's career choices subtly shifted. He became more selective. He leaned into roles that required vulnerability rather than surface-level charm. He allowed himself to look tired on screen. Broken. Conflicted. And ironically, this made him more compelling than ever. The silent case also changed how fans interacted with him. Many became more protective, more attentive to his emotional well-being rather than just his visuals. Fan letters started focusing less on "you're perfect" and more on "we hope you're okay." That shift matters. It's the difference between idolization and empathy. But silence has a cost. Carrying everything without public release can weigh heavily on a person. Those close to him have hinted, very subtly, that this period was emotionally exhausting. Not devastating, but draining. The kind of fatigue that doesn't show on your face immediately but slowly reshapes how you see the world. And here's the part that truly changed his career forever. After this case, Cha Eun-woo stopped trying to outrun criticism. He stopped chasing universal approval. Instead, he focused on sincerity. And sincerity, in the long run, is far more powerful than perfection. Viewers began responding differently to his performances. Critics softened. Some even admitted they had underestimated him. Not because of one explosive role, but because of consistent, quiet improvement. The kind that only comes from self-reflection. Let me ask you this, do you think growth always needs a dramatic breaking point, or can quiet endurance be just as transformative? This story seems to suggest the latter. What's fascinating is that Cha Eun-woo never used this case as a narrative tool. He never referenced it to boost sympathy or frame himself as a victim. And in an industry where personal struggles are often commodified, that choice stands out. It tells us something about his character, whether you're a fan or a critic. Today, when you watch him walk into a press event or appear on screen, there's a calm confidence that feels earned rather than manufactured. He doesn't rush to prove himself. He lets the work speak. That's not the Cha Eun-woo of his earliest years. That's someone shaped by quiet storms, and the industry noticed. Younger idols look to him as an example of longevity. Not just how to debut, but how to survive scrutiny. How to remain grounded when things don't go perfectly. How to let silence teach you rather than break you. As we near the end of this story, I want you to reflect on something. The loudest moments in a celebrity's life are often the least revealing. It's the quiet ones, the misunderstood pauses, the unanswered questions, the unspoken lessons, that truly define who they become. For Cha Eun-woo, that one quiet case didn't end his career. It didn't derail him. It refined him. It stripped away the illusion of effortlessness and replaced it with something far more meaningful, depth. So the next time you watch one of his scenes and feel something lingering after it ends, remember this. You're not just watching an actor perform. You're watching someone who learned, silently, how to carry pressure, judgment, and expectation, and turn it into growth. Now it's your turn. Did you notice the change in Cha Eun-woo over the years? Do you think silence can be a strength in an industry that thrives on noise? Drop your thoughts in the comments, talk to each other, and let's keep this conversation going, because some stories deserve to be felt, not shouted. And as always, this is KDramaVerse, where even the quietest moments matter.